Yo, what's up everybody? PayDroV here, coming to y'all with a new video. Before I start the video, thank y'all for 20,000 subscribers. I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning into my videos. Yeah, thank you guys. Enjoy the video.
Je vous servirai dans la fidélité de la confiance que vous m'avez donnée. Je vous servirai avec amour. Vive la République! Vive la France!
French authorities are still removing burned-out cars, cleaning up broken glass, and scouring graffiti from buildings on the famed Champs-Élysées Avenue and other Paris landmarks that were trashed by protesters over the weekend. Yeah, dozens were hurt, and now reports that an elderly woman has died from her injuries. In all, some 250 fires were reported, and 300-plus people remain behind bars. The violence included groups on the far left and far right, but police also believe much of the violence aimed at police was the work of professional troublemakers.
All right, meanwhile, a curious conversation between the French president and the Saudi leader caught on video. The conversation between the two men happening on the sidelines of the G20 summit. Emmanuel Macron reportedly telling Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS, "I am worried," I'm quoting now, "I am worried," and, quote, "you never listen to me," end quote. It's important to note that we don't know the context of these comments.
President Emmanuel Macron toured the damage, including this graffiti on the Arc de Triomphe, calling on him to resign. The so-called Yellow Vest protests, named after the safety vests worn by demonstrators, began 3 weeks ago. They were fueled by an increase in gasoline tax, but have grown into a fierce fight against declining living standards.
If we abandoned Saudi Arabia, it would be a terrible mistake. I don't make deals with Saudi Arabia. I don't have money from Saudi Arabia. I have nothing to do with Saudi Arabia.
Tonight, new reporting that Saudi Arabia used U.S. military veterans to pump money into a Trump hotel. The Washington Post reports that lobbyists representing the Saudi government paid for an estimated 500 rooms at President Trump's D.C. hotel in the months after his election. The total bill for those trips, more than $270,000. According to the Post, the lobbyists rented the rooms ostensibly as part of a pressure campaign to overturn legislation opposed by the Saudi government. The lobbyists offered veterans a free trip to Washington if they then went to Capitol Hill to lobby against the law. Several veterans told the Post the trips featured fancy dinners in a Trump hotel dining room, an open bar that was frequently extended. One of the veterans said he was confused by the opulent nature of the trips until one of the organizers, who'd been drinking minibar champagne, mentioned a Saudi prince. I said, oh, we were just used to give Trump money.
I don't have money from Saudi Arabia. I have nothing to do with Saudi Arabia. I couldn't care less. A tremendous fortune like you've never seen before. But someday I'll tell you what that is. And I knew that a long time ago because I don't do deals. All I do is focus on this country and making great deals for this country. I don't focus on making great deals for myself because I don't care anymore. So Saudi Arabia has nothing to do with me.
The surprise, I think, some people is that it took until now for the president to make this announcement. So we have just learned, as you pointed out, Sandra, on Twitter, the president has at least for now canceled his G20 meeting with Russia's President Vladimir Putin.
Melissa, we're looking at video that is speaking right now. Let's listen.
I'm very delighted to be able to host President Trump once again for an exchange visit after our discussions in Brussels, Paris, and that particularly, of course, on the occasion of the 14th of July 2017 and my visit to Washington, New York at the UN General Assembly, and also because we're here to celebrate the triumph of our peoples and the extraordinary solidarity between us.
Mr. Trump's distance did not stop Russian President Vladimir Putin and Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman from enjoying a public display of affection as the president walked by. Mr. Trump canceled planned meetings with Putin en route to Buenos Aires, citing Russia's seizure of Ukrainian ships and sailors this week. And yet, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders issued a statement saying Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation was undermining the U.S.-Russian relationship. The president also had a brief off-camera encounter with the Saudi Crown Prince, their first face-to-face since the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, whose murder has been linked to bin Salman by U.S. intelligence. A White House official said they, quote, exchanged pleasantries. Earlier in the day, the president and the leaders of Canada and Mexico signed a new trade deal, formerly known as NAFTA. Negotiations between Canada and the U.S. were tense and remain in some cases unresolved. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau urged the president to lift steel and aluminum tariffs imposed on Canadian imports.
It's been long and hard. We've taken a lot of barbs and a little abuse. And we got there. It's great for all of our countries.
And an even bigger trade issue, hundreds of billions of dollars in threatened U.S.-China tariffs on top of those already in place. Tonight, President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping hold a working dinner in hopes of diffusing an all-out trade war.
Parts of Paris have become a battle zone after violent street protests. French President Emmanuel Macron has ordered his prime minister to begin holding talks with the demonstrators and has not ruled out declaring a state of emergency.
Who should be held accountable?
Maybe the world should be held accountable because the world is a vicious place. The world is a very, very vicious place. You look at what's happening in China, and you look at what's happening in so many different countries. I could name many countries. You look at what's happening with terrorism all over the world. That's the other thing with Saudi Arabia. They really are. They're putting up tremendous amounts of money to actually fight terrorism. Now, they were a part of terrorism, and nobody's going to try and justify that. They were a big part of it. But they're spending a lot of money, and they're opening up, and they're doing a lot of things that are very good. They're really opening up that country for a lot of good. You know, until this happened, there were a lot of people saying a lot of good things about the Crown Prince. So he strongly denies it, he vehemently denies it. And my policy is very simple. America first, keep America great again. And that's what I'm doing, and we're doing.
From back home. Looming over the meeting whether the U.S. and China can get past tensions and work out a trade pact. On Friday, President Salman was sidelined during the official family photo of world leaders, standing at the far